Great, then I've just been given the thumbs up and we can start proceeding. So tonight, our agenda is pretty straightforward. We are going to have the PTO General Assembly meeting. We are required by our bylaws to have 3 of those a year. This is our second one. Then we're going to have a video message from the General Counsel of France, who's based in Houston, who could not be here tonight, but she has videotaped an audio message for us. Then we are going to have a presentation by the DIS Board President, Tammy Cotton Hartnett, and staunch friend and supporter of the school. So we are so pleased that she is able to join us tonight. And then finally, Dr. Gonzalez will give us our annual State of the School address, and then followed by a cocktail reception. So if you do have any questions tonight, there will not be a question and answer session, but if you do have questions, Dr. Gonzalez, Tammy, and other members of the board, and myself, and some staff will be available to answer any questions you might have. So let's kick it off with the Parent-Teacher Organization General Assembly. Our agenda is we are going to announce our Volunteer of the Year for the 2020-2021 school year. Due to COVID, we were not able to do this presentation earlier, so we'll hear a little bit about our Volunteer of the Year in a minute. We're going to go over some of our PTO past events, our budget overview, a PTO upcoming events, and then we'll talk a little bit about the biggest fundraiser that the school has, our gala. PTO past events. We've had despite COVID, we've managed to pull off quite a few wonderful events. I don't know how many of you were here for the welcome cocktail, but it was a great event at the Churchill campus, and I think it was a very needed event because I think we all needed to come together and celebrate for having been apart for so long. We've also been selling our Spirit t-shirts. We have recouped on our costs, and the sales are continuing. So if we do have some Spirit t-shirts left over, if anyone still wants to buy one, let us know. We've got them here tonight. The other wonderful event that we have continued is the Cinepark movie events, and those are going to continue once the weather gets a little warmer. Those are always a treat. Ratatouille was our movie in November, and I'm not sure what's going to come in the spring, but I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. The kids absolutely had a wonderful time. It was held at Churchill in November, and look for upcoming emails on when the next one is going to be held and where. The highlight for me anyway was the French Book Fair. For the first time, we held the French Book Fair over a weekend at the Churchill campus, and I'm really, really pleased to announce that we sold over $12,000 worth of books, and I'm sure DIS was thrilled because we were able to start paying back the money that we owed them. So that was a wonderful event, and next year, thank you, and next year, please look out for more emails coming because next year is going to be an even bigger and better event at the Churchill campus again. And finally, one of the last events we held was the Mom and Dad's Holiday Party. We had a wonderful turnout. Shari Anwar and her husband were gracious enough to open their home to us, and we had a marvelous time at celebrating and being together. Budget overview. It is a pleasure to announce that the PTO actually has a very healthy cash balance right now. At the end of December, our balance is over $140,000. So this means we do have the funds to put on a gala, and we're very excited about that. $40,000 of that was proceeds from the 2021 Spring Fete that I don't know how many of you were able to attend at the Cotton Hartnett's beautiful home. Ms. Cotton Hartnett's opened their home to us, and we were able to raise $40,000 at that event. And after this gala, we'll be turning over those funds to DIS because that was raised. At this point, we have, like I said, over $12,000 was raised for the book fair. That money was paid back to DIS because DIS does front the money to the PTO in order to purchase the books and get them shipped over from France. Our Spirit shirts recorded over $5,500 in sales. As I said, we have recouped our cost in that, and please please buy more t-shirts. They're always a great keepsake for your kids. The Mom and Dad's Club have been hosting a number of events. They've all been self-funded, and which is really great. It shows a really nice interest by the parents in gathering together and really enjoying our community. Our PTO events committee, Molly Deckard and Charlotte Pine, they're not able to be here right now, but they were here earlier setting up and organizing the food and the drinks for tonight's event, and those ladies have worked so hard for us. So I'm very pleased to announce that they've done a wonderful job and keeping us on track and organized. PTO upcoming events. Right now, ongoing, you may have seen when you came in, is the Waterview portion of the book fair. A lot of times, we do have leftover books because the high school and middle schoolers don't always get down to Churchill. So if any of you missed the opportunity to buy French books in November, right now in reception, I think it's closed now. There's an opportunity to buy more books, and please remind your middle schoolers and high schoolers that they can still buy books tomorrow, and the reception area will be open for parents to come and also purchase books. The Gala Wine Pull. As many of you may know, one of the big events of the gala is the wine pull, and we are going to be soliciting donations in the carpool line. So look for the PTO parents out there soliciting donations, and I hope you'll be generous and donate to the wine pull. On Saturday, February 26th will be the Daddy-Daughter Dance. So look for emails to buy your tickets and attend that. That's always such a wonderful event, and we are pleased to announce that it's back. So after a COVID hiatus, we're back. Next will be on March 3rd will be the Gala Class Projects Art Exhibit and Cocktail Party. For those of you who may not know, the elementary school students always prepare a class art project, which is then submitted and donated to the gala for parents to bid on it. If you've never been, it's really fun. And on March 3rd, we are going to have the previews, so you can come and see what your students have done. And it'll be another cocktail party and another opportunity to get together, and it's really a fun time. On Saturday, March 26th, our gala. Again, the biggest fundraiser that DIS has, and I know Mike McFadden and Dima Say, our gala co-chairs, are here, so if you have any questions, they can answer them. Look for emails, and if you can go on the DIS website, if you haven't already purchased your ticket, please purchase your ticket. We are, at this point in time, we're going full forward, full steam ahead. We are planning on having the gala. Saturday, April 30th, we are going to stage the carnival. Some of you may remember that the carnival is usually held in October, but because of issues with COVID this year, we moved it. And this year it's going to be April 30th, Saturday, April 30th at the Churchill campus. We hope you can come out and join us for that. And then our final event of the year will be Saturday, May 21st, and that will be the final PTO general meeting and election and pool party. So watch your emails for that and announcements for that. Yes. Allison Mattis. I'd like to say a few words about Allison. First of all, I would like to apologize to Allison that we did not do this for you earlier. Because of COVID and restrictions, unfortunately, Allison did not get her award. But I would like to point out that I don't know Allison personally. However, those who do speak so highly of this woman. She's been described to me as a dynamo, energetic, smart, compassionate, caring friend, and DIS was lucky to have her as part of our community for the years we did. Little bit of highlights of Allison's contributions to DIS. She was a gala chair at the 2018-2019 school year. She was a fundraising board member from 2020 through 2021. She launched the PTO website and the online uniform store. She created the Cinepark events that we've all come to love, and she hosted and created virtual game night and online speaking sessions during the time of COVID. So Allison, there was a unanimous vote and a decision. You were the 2020-2021 DIS PTO Volunteer of the Year. Come on up. This is how much they loved you. I am pleased to present you with this award, Allison, for all of your hard work and contributions to Dallas International School. Thank you so much. Where are we? Yes. The 2022 Gala Event of the Year, Star Spangled Soiree. As I've said, it is March 26th, and it's going to be held at the Renaissance Hotel. We could use some more volunteers to help out with some of the activities, such as donations for the wine pool, the table and room decor, live auctions, tickets and seating, and program ads. Mike McFadden, our Gala co-chair, has announced a fundraising goal of $350,000, so I hope you will all contribute and help us to make that goal. Sponsorships and teacher table tickets are still available, so if you haven't had a chance to purchase your tickets, please go to the DIS website or look for the emails and other opportunities that we'll make available so that people can purchase their tickets. And that's it for our PTO General Assembly. So next up, we are going to hear a video from the French Council, Valerie Baraban. She's located in Houston and could not be here tonight. However, she did record this message.
Chers élèves de l'École internationale de Dallas et chers parents, chers directeurs, chers présidents du conseil d'administration et membres du conseil, chers professeurs. Je suis très heureuse de m'adresser à vous aujourd'hui et à toute la communauté éducative de l'École internationale de Dallas, en particulier à vous, chers élèves qui étudiez le français, et à vos parents. Vous êtes réunis aujourd'hui autour du directeur pour the State of the School Address et je saisis cette occasion pour vous présenter mes meilleurs vœux pour 2022. À vous, chers élèves, je formule en particulier des vœux de réussite scolaire, des vœux d'épanouissement, de santé et de bonheur. Je m'adresse à vous aujourd'hui, depuis Houston, pour vous dire toute l'importance que j'accorde à votre école et à votre avenir. Pour vous dire toute l'importance que la France accorde aux écoles françaises de par le monde et aux programmes français, un réseau dans lequel vous appartenez. L'École internationale de Dallas est une magnifique école. Je salue le professionnalisme et l'engagement sans faille du conseil d'administration et de sa présidente, du directeur de l'école et de toute l'équipe de direction ainsi que du corps professoral. Et je vous félicite, chers parents, d'avoir choisi cette école pour vos enfants. L'École internationale de Dallas est une magnifique école car elle ouvre les élèves sur le monde, elle ouvre leurs esprits, elle les prépare à devenir des citoyens responsables face aux enjeux globaux, des citoyens créatifs et engagés, des citoyens autonomes et réfléchis. Une éducation multilingue, c'est une éducation qui ouvre un grand nombre de portes. Linguistiques, bien sûr, mais aussi culturelles, philosophiques, cognitives, professionnelles. Let me quote Greg Roberts, World Language and Dual Language Specialist for the Utah Department of Education. He says, monolingualism is the illiteracy of the 21st century. Apprendre une nouvelle langue, c'est commencer une nouvelle vie. C'est s'ouvrir à une nouvelle vision de la vie. Un enfant qui apprend une nouvelle langue voit son développement cognitif stimulé et plus tard, il aura bien sûr beaucoup d'autres facilités pour apprendre de nouvelles langues. Enfin, parler plusieurs langues, c'est se doter d'un véritable jeu de cartes dans sa vie professionnelle, c'est ouvrir l'horizon des possibles. Alors, qui sait où le français vous conduira, chers élèves, dans votre vie professionnelle? Qui sait où vous mènera le français vers des carrières scientifiques, dans l'ingénierie, le spatial, l'intelligence artificielle, vers le quantique, la santé, le cinéma, le business, puis vers des pays nouveaux, en Europe, en Afrique ou en Asie ou ailleurs. Le français est une porte vers les humanités, la philosophie, la création et l'innovation. C'est un voyage dans le temps et dans l'espace, c'est un voyage réel ou un voyage par la connaissance. Je prendrai un seul exemple pour vous montrer à quel point le français est une invitation au voyage. Le musée d'art moderne accueillera une exposition extraordinaire sur Cartier et les arts de l'islam. Cette exposition raconte l'histoire de deux Français, deux frères, Louis et Jacques Cartier, explorateurs et collectionneurs, qui au début du XXe siècle ont réuni les plus beaux objets de l'art islamique, de l'Inde au Golfe Persique, de l'Égypte au Maroc et au Liban. À travers leur histoire et celle d'une maison française de haute joaillerie, vous plongerez dans les arts islamiques et dans les sources d'une certaine modernité esthétique française et occidentale. L'histoire de la France, l'histoire des Français, c'est effectivement l'histoire d'un dialogue avec le monde entier. Le français est une langue mondiale. La francophonie, comme organisation internationale et comme espace linguistique, avec des auteurs des 5 continents qui écrivent dans cette langue, reflète cette présence du français à l'échelle du monde. Le français, c'est aussi l'une des 6 langues officielles des Nations Unies. Le français, c'est une porte vers le continent européen, vers l'Union européenne. Et vous savez que depuis le 1er janvier, la France a pris la présidence tournante du Conseil de l'Union européenne. Cela veut dire qu'elle a la responsabilité de présider les réunions de travail de tous les États membres et de les amener vers des décisions importantes dans des domaines stratégiques comme le numérique, l'emploi, la santé, la sécurité. Pendant 6 mois, plus encore que d'ordinaire, la France et l'Union européenne conjugueront leurs voix pour porter leur message vers le monde. Chers élèves, chers parents, le français, cela donne aussi accès à la politique internationale, aux organisations internationales et à une compréhension plus fine de la marche du monde. Et je sais qu'aujourd'hui, M. Gonzalez vous expliquera comment, par quel projet, l'École internationale de Dallas, cette année, relèvera cette ambition pour vous, élèves et parents. Voilà, je conclue là mon message. Mon attachement à l'éducation est ancien et sincère, car avant d'être diplomate, j'ai été enseignante pendant plus de 10 ans en France et aux États-Unis. Je vous redis tout mon soutien, mes encouragements, mes meilleurs vœux pour 2022. Je me réjouis de vous voir à une prochaine fois à Dallas lorsque je viendrai et je vous souhaite une excellente réunion. Voilà, à très bientôt.
Thank you, Valerie Barbaran. We really appreciate you taking the time to record that message for us. Next up, I would like to introduce to you former parent, DIS board president, staunch friend and supporter of Dallas International School, the incredible, dynamic Tammy Cotton Hartnett. Thank you.
I'm gonna have to maneuver this.
You gotta turn it back on. You'll have to turn that back on.
Will this go off if I turn it on? Might be a little tricky. I will say that Valerie Baraban is actually one of the members of the board of directors and a really wonderful member and very experienced diplomat. And I would also like to congratulate Allison on your award. And I will say that I do know Allison, and I met her at my house when we did the FET. She was the one that was there before I was out of bed and the one that was there before I put everyone else to sleep in my home. So Allison, you did a great job and thank you so much, and it's well deserved. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Tammy Cotton Hartnett, and I'm delighted to be here with you in person and those of you joining us online. And if I could get a shout out for how many people are online, I think we have about 40 people, 44. And for those who cannot see the full room, we have standing room only and every seat is full. So I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I also want to especially say a word of thanks to our teachers and our staff who put their own concerns second in order to place our students and their parents first in guiding your aspirational educational journey. I'm currently serving all of our community as the board president of directors, and I thought I would give you the good news for the state of our school, that we are stronger and more vibrant, and we've got great exciting plans moving forward. This year's board of directors is working on the theme Building Our Institution. And as I look around the room, I see 7 board members present here today, and I'm going to ask you to wave out when I call your name. And if I omit anyone, please let me know. I see Paula Buckley. She's here in the back. Sabine DeLay-Carrell, right here in the front. Jay Vogelson, right here. Sheila Kelly in the back. Genevieve Desmond, who you heard from earlier today. Dr. Gonzalez. And I also want to mention 2 former board members that I also see here tonight. One is Mike McFadden and Natalie Poirot. They're here somewhere. So as I said, this year's board cohort is working on the theme Building Our Institution. We have 4 major goals as we begin to build this institution. One of them is building a fiduciary board of directors that is focused on governance. Our number 2 goal is building a succession plan for both our CEO and members of the board, which I will further elaborate in a minute. The third is building our 2-year strategic plan. And the strategic plan will be led by Katie Black, who is here in the front row. She's currently Vice President and Chief of Staff for Accent Care, a company with over 23,000 employees generating over $661 million. And as she just told me as we were sitting together tonight, she let me know that she will be leading Accent Care's 5-year strategic plan. So she's going to be doing that simultaneously as she guides us. Katie handles at this company change management and mergers and acquisitions. Katie is now serving on the board of directors and is a former DIS parent of 3 grown children. Katie will be leading the strategic plan meeting starting on Sunday evening, and we hope to have deliverables to everyone in the community this May. So we have a very aggressive timeline. And lastly, our 4th goal for building our institution is to secure commitments from our community partners, parents that demonstrate our awesome mission of being the only school in North Texas to deliver both the French and the international backs. And in keeping with our public-private partnerships, in order to build this institution, we also hope to be able to announce to you an exciting expansion that would provide the building of our athletic facilities on Waterview campus, but we're still working through some of the legal aspects of this long-term partnership. And out of an abundance of caution, we ask for your patience and hope to bring this exciting news to you next month. I want to spend a few minutes and let you know where we are on our succession planning for our next CEO and head of school. From our last board communication to you, we confirmed our commitment to better communicate and be very transparent, and we will continue to inform you of our actions every step of the way. And please know that should you have any questions or concern, you can reach out directly to me. And by the way, I owe 2 emails and telephone calls to 2 individuals who have done just that. And I hope to get to those this weekend. As you know, we've secured our current interim head of school, Dr. Gonzalez, for another full year, which allows us to conduct a thorough search and transition. The board hired in December the premier international search firm, Carney Sando. 2 weeks ago, we invited Carney Sando team to Dallas to meet our leadership team, to see our facilities, to understand our close-knit community, and to hear about our strengths and challenges. We conducted 2 days of honest, thought-provoking interviews with Carney Sando, and they have produced a 6-page report that will formalize the position description that we will be posting worldwide as well as on our website for your review as early as next week. This will be the first time in our history that DIS will lead this type of search for our next CEO, and one that will include but not be limited to just the MLF network. This opportunity broadens our pool of highly qualified candidates in order to find the right fit for our school at this time. Serving as the 3 co-chairs for this committee, along with Carney Sando, will be myself. I'm a former parent and current president of the board. Genevieve Desmond, who is a current parent and president of our beloved PTO, also a board member, and Marie-Pierre Carlotti, our current board member and director for MLF North America. She has served as the head of school for a prominent international school in San Francisco and has conducted many international heads of school searches. And Marie-Pierre sent me a message saying that she's watching online and sending her best to us. This position description, currently being drafted by Carney Sando based off of that report, will produce hundreds of applicants that will be fully vetted and fully interviewed first by our search firm, and then presented to the search committee for analyzing the top 25 applicants that best fit our needs. Those applicants will then be debated, evaluated, and called to around 15 candidates that will be interviewed by a selected team of 6 board members. When we arrive at a deliberated set of our top 3 candidates, we will then bring those candidates to both of our campuses for final interviews for the entire 21 board of directors. We expect this timeframe to deliver those 3 finalists by this May, with a new CEO being hired by June, hired for the start date of the following year. This will allow us for the first time in our succession planning goals to implement a full year of transition between Dr. Gonzalez and whomever takes the lead for the next person coming in. Dr. Gonzalez and I will lead this incoming CEO through a year of onboarding beginning in July of 2022, so this summer, with a full month-long in-person transition beginning July 1, 2023. I'm enlisting all of you today to be a part of the search committee with us by submitting anyone you might believe that would also be a good candidate for our next CEO. These submissions should go directly to our leadership team at Carney Sando, who will do the professional vetting of all of your submissions to be included in the pool of candidates. My comments this evening will be emailed to you tomorrow with the contact information for that particular person. And with the good news update of being ahead of schedule on our succession planning and fulfilling 2 of our goals for building our institution, may I continue the state of our school and introduce someone who actually needs no introduction, but someone who has selflessly poured himself, mind and spirit, into what servant leadership looks like in action, our very own Dr. Joseph Gonzalez.
I know there are doctors watching, so. Okay. Here we are. To begin with, let me just say a good evening to all of you. To me, it's a real pleasure to be here. And it's a real pleasure to be surrounded by people like you, by parents, by students, by board members, by the board president, by teachers, by friends, by students. I couldn't think of a better place to be this evening than here. I really feel that this is my family, and I'm really enjoying my time here at Dallas International School. Let me introduce you to my team, because some of you might know my team, some of you might not, and I think it's important that everyone is aware of the highly professional people that I'm surrounded by on a daily basis. Maybe you can raise your hand or stand briefly when I mention your name. Let's start with Patty de Villiers, Head of Secondary. Then Franck Philippe, Head of Primary. Kerry Briard, Director of Admission and Development. Michelle Provan, Director of Marketing and Communication. Johannes Mibratku, Director of Camps and Language Institute. Laurent Lebaillif, CFO. Zilla Webb, Director of Human Resources. Douglas Lee, Director of Technology and STEM. Sergio Franklin, Athletic Director. And Karina Popa, Executive Assistant to the Head of School. And many other things, many other things. A highly professional team, and precisely because I'm proud of them, I'd like to tell you about some of the projects that they have engaged in, that we have engaged in. Then I'll be more concrete, more particular in some of the detail, but I just wanted to highlight a few things that my team and I are working on. So some of the key initiatives underway: rebranding, promoting DIS in our Metroplex, in Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and beyond. And if I say beyond, it's because obviously we're trying to put Dallas on the map, on the educational map, in a number of ways. Nationally, internationally, the ads we're publishing in terms of searching for new teachers, whether it's French, whether it's American. We're talking about our school differently. We're talking about our city differently. We're ensuring that we look as attractive as possible, because this is a fantastic place to be in. I'll also tell you a little bit later on about the STEM program we're putting together, spanning all grades from K to 12. Then we're also trying to ensure a seamless transition, a consistent and seamless transition between Churchill and Waterview. And those of you who were here last Saturday hopefully had a wonderful time. It was a very good time to be here. We shared some time together with the CM1 families, the fourth grade families, coming over to Waterview and being shown the campus by student ambassadors as young as fifth graders and then high schoolers as well. It was a very beautiful moment to share. We're building a solid athletic program with now an athletic coordinator at Churchill and an athletic director here. And we are going to have more and more excellent athletes transitioning from one campus to the next. We're trying to increase also our summer camp offerings, and we're hoping to be able to offer summer camp activities, not just at Churchill, but also here at Waterview. We're looking at some very interesting possibilities for Waterview this year. Rolling admission, things are changing. Now the admission sort of season is more than just a few months. It's rolling admission. And one of the things we're doing, as you know, is we're expanding our immersion classes. Those are the classes for students who don't necessarily speak French, but who want to come to our school because they realize that speaking French and English and coming to an international school opens up a lot of different possibilities. So now, for next year, instead of just having a group at Churchill, we're going to have 3. 2 at Churchill, 1 here, all the way from grades 1 to 7, to attract more student talent. That's what we want. We want more student talent. And also, as you know, the IB track. We're expanding the IB track. We're ensuring that that's very attractive. We've got students in 9th grade, in 10th grade, in 11th grade, in 12th grade, and we welcome 2 new students this week, and I can see the parents here. So I'm very happy to announce that we're expanding that track, and we'll be getting more students next year. Fundraising. We've talked about the gala, if you attend the gala, hopefully you will see that we're trying to fundraise for a very, very important project. Gathering spaces. What we mean is places where students can get together, places where students can collaborate, can do things together, can lead one another. We're talking about a number of spaces. This very space, which will become a main hall. We're talking about the garden. We're talking about the cafe. We're talking about student spaces here. We're talking about a wonderful playground at Churchill. We're talking about an arts exhibition space at Churchill. We're talking about wonderful things through which students will be able to do even better. So those are some key initiatives that my team and I are working on. But let me go into the detail. Building the future. And every member of my team has prepared this year what we call a development plan. A development plan means what are the kind of actions that we're going to put in place to go on improving the school in the right spirit of a growth mindset. Because that's what education is about. It's having a growth mindset and going on improving what we offer. And so every department has put together a development plans which are based on a number of things. They're based on observations. We have a lot of experience in the school and outside of the school, people who've been here for a long time, people who've been here for a short time and have other professional experience. So observations, also data. Data is extremely important. So market study data, also different inspection reports, American inspection reports, the IB inspection report, French inspection reports, all that data is extremely important to put development plans together. And that's what we've done. So looking at everything, we've realized that there are 3 main themes or even principles, tenets that have emerged. 3 areas on which we're working hard. Academic ambition, global citizenship and leadership, and community spirit. Let me tell you a little bit more about that. Academic ambition. This is a recent photograph, October 2021, and I can see the parents of some of the students in this photograph. This is the brevet ceremony. The brevet, as you might know, if you have students here at Waterview, is an international French exam going from science to math to French to history, geography, covering the whole thing. It's an international exam, and every year there's about 1 million students taking this exam worldwide, in France and in 130 different countries. This is an international exam in French, so French speakers, but not necessarily native speakers all the time. So it's people in France and outside of France. Now, 100% of our students pass the exam with honors, 100%. More than half of them with the highest honors. Mention très bien. And that's something that I'm extremely proud of, and some of the students are here present. So it's good to see them here. And this is where we think we work for those students. We need to ensure that we give them the tools to do the kinds of things they want to do. Go deeper and deeper and deeper in their academic ambition. So what kinds of things can we do as adults, can we do as a leadership team? A number of things. Math and STEM, to begin with. We have plans for next year. In terms of mathematics, we're investing money in more resources and I also mean human resources. That means that we're going to be able to have our department head here at Waterview, the mathematics, take an overview of the entire school in terms of a math program for the entire school from K to 12. I think it's important that somebody has an overview from K to 12 to ensure that we have the best possible progression in terms of math. So there's going to be a comprehensive, coordinated curriculum for both French and US math. And for the school, the additional resources we're investing, the new math teacher, means that we will be able to do a number of things. We will be able to provide support to certain students. We will be able to offer clubs and competitions in math more than we do now, both during the school day and in after-school activities. So math is going to grow from this point of view. I'm looking forward to that. Same with STEM. I think it's when we invest in a whole school STEM director, that's when we can do greater things. And that person is Douglas Lee, who's an expert in STEM and a real passionate person about STEM. And as soon as I realized, I said, you're not just director of technology, I appoint you director of STEM straight away. And he accepted. He's going to have oversight of both campuses. He's already started working with our STEM teacher at Churchill to ensure that we have a full program that makes sense for the entire school. A full program which, will start with K to 4th grade. That's the foundation. That's when they start learning the foundation of STEM. Going on to building on those basics from 5th to 8th grade. And then finally, having 3 possible tracks in the high school. So a STEM track which will concentrate more on engineering, one STEM track that will concentrate more on computer science, and a third one which will look more into information technology. So that's something that we'll start building next year. Rome was not built in a day, but I can tell you that we are already working on the different programs to offer next year. It means that we will also be able to do more competitions and clubs, both during the school day and in the evening after school, and that we're also trying over time to build synergies with UTD. That's already happening. I mean, we have groups of students, and I recently attended about a month ago or so, an interesting session at UTD. You know that here on our facilities, there's a rather strange-looking facility which doesn't belong to the school and belongs to the University of Texas, to UTD, but it's here on our premises. So more synergies with them. They have a wonderful wind tunnel, and our students are fascinated with the facilities they have over there. So math and STEM, of course, the humanities, they're also extremely important. It's not just about math, it's also about verbal skills. It's about being able to communicate. It's about being able to speak, being able to write. So in terms of English, the reintroduction of a school-wide English coordinator, the possibility of American international sections. What do I mean by that? Again, when I say certain things are going to be there in August 22, other things more likely August 23. When it comes to American international sections within the French system, all the way from the beginning at Churchill here in the French system, you can be teaching the French program, but open American sections in which you're studying the French program, but there's a little bit more time allotted not just to English as a language, but English as a vehicle to know American culture. So that might be very interesting for us as a school, not just because most of our parents are American, but also those parents were not, and I'm not American, but it's interesting if we live here to know more about the USA. So that's attractive to all of us. So we're looking at that. As you can imagine, that's something very serious, and we need to engage in conversations with the ministry and have all the programs approved. So that will take time, but I thought it was interesting to talk about that. Modern foreign languages and cultures. streamlining the program from PK4 through 12th grade. And for example, as you know, now we have a generation of students coming to 4th grade to CM1 with Mandarin Chinese. They will be able next year to do Mandarin Chinese in CM2 here at Waterloo. That's something new, because as you know, they used to start later on in 6th grade, but now that we have this generation coming up, they will be able to do Mandarin Chinese. As you know, we also offer Spanish, we also offer German, and we're hoping to diversify in the future. Music, offering a range of bilingual options in 12th and 11th grades. That's important because this year already, if we had traditionally done French and English for the IB track, this year we're also offering English and Spanish for the IB track. So that's another way in which we're going to diversify our offer, being able to do different bilingual programs at Waterloo. Music. Addition of a dedicated music teacher to Waterloo. That means that there'll be more resources for the school. And that means that the resources we have at Churchill will be able to concentrate more at Churchill, and therefore we will have a better provision for both campuses. In the case of the older students, the person we would like to employ would be a practitioner, so that in addition to what would be the theory, that person could organize the band and orchestra and the kind of thing that we'd like our students to engage in the future. So that's some of the projects we have for the humanities across both campuses. Sorry, wrong way around. Just some general updates. We're still within academic ambition. We realize that I'm talking about going deeper and deeper and deeper in academic ambition. We're creating a maternelle coordinator at Churchill. Maternelle coordinators, you know, the maternelle, that's the little ones, and that's one of the, if you wish, jewels in the crown of the French system. And it's a really good program. And we want to enhance that program by ensuring that we have a coordinator to make it even better, to ensure there's the best possible communication between the parents and the teachers. Communication when it comes to young students, as you know, is crucial. Parents want to know what their children are doing in the classroom on a day-to-day basis. So that coordinator is going to help us get all of that right and improve our current offering, which is already excellent. When it comes to Waterloo, the addition for next year is a specialist in what sometimes it's called learning strategies. What does that mean? That means a specialist in ways to learn. Some students need to be taught how to learn things better. They sometimes have issues in terms of, how do I learn this? Am I doing it the right way? So a learning strategist who is going to help students learn better, but who's also a specialist in gifted and talented students. So it means that he can help us by training the teachers, by talking to the students. He can help us all get everyone even better and better and better. So we're looking forward to that addition. And some of these contracts, as you can imagine, have already gone out because when it comes to international appointments, this is the time we started interviewing in December. January is the time when we start offering contracts and getting them signed and issued. So we're working hard on some of these appointments. French immersion program, as I said before, grades 1 through 7. I repeat, this is because we want to attract talent. We have very talented students, we want more of them. The IB track. We are introducing new subjects like film. That's obviously in addition of, I'm not going to go through the list of math and science, but in addition to all those more classical subjects, we're introducing film, computer science, business management, ESS, that's environmental systems and societies. For the French track, there's a possibility, and that's more 2023, if we come to that, than 2022. The new French pack, which was introduced a few years ago, and which is working really well, is evolving. And there's a possibility of creating what they call in France the Bac Français International, so the International French Baccalaureate. Still French ministry, so very much it's a French certificate. And what is the difference with the current one? It's very similar to the current one. The difference is that it can be taken bilingually, trilingually, quadrilingually, and that they have a subject called Knowledge of the World, Connaissance du Monde, which is more to do with geopolitics, international relations, and a number of very interesting things for what is an international qualification. So both the IB track and the French track look very, very interesting to me at this point in time. We want to customize the college counseling experience for students. We're working hard on that. And in terms of the teacher profile and the training to teachers, that's something we're working on in terms of sometimes in industry that can be called a performance management system. In schools, we call it differently. We talk about reflection on growth, we talk about support. We're always very positive the way we do things in schools. And we want to ensure technique is very important for teachers, but transmitting enthusiasm for knowledge is even more important. So we're going to be discussing that with our teachers. How can we go further down the route of being even more enthusiastic about the way we transmit a love, a passion for knowledge? The other area, global citizenship and leadership. In addition to academic ambition, I think an international school needs to concentrate also on global citizenship and leadership. What do I mean by that? In the first place, that's our essence. We're global citizens in action. And if you attended the Heads Coffee, I think a couple of weeks ago, you remember that I gave some interesting figures. We have 35 different nationalities in our school. And when it comes to those 28 countries, what do they represent? And as you can see, it goes from Guatemala, China, Tunisia, Germany, South Africa, Vietnam, Portugal, Ivory Coast, USA, United Kingdom, Spain, you name it, Canada, you name it. They represent the countries where our teachers have worked. So our teachers are not just international, they have worked internationally. And I think that's a wealth of which I'm very, very proud. And that's why I'm saying that that's the nature of our school. Global citizens in action. Our teachers, our parents, just looking around this room, I'm sure that there's more diversity than in most other rooms in this city. In terms of teachers, in terms of families, in terms of the wonderful community that we are. So what are we going to do? How can we ensure that we prepare our students to become well-rounded, to become global citizens? Global also means local. You cannot be global unless you're also American. Both are important. How are we going to do that? In the first place, by putting together what we call a global citizenship and leadership program. That's already present to an extent in their studies. When they do, whether it's the IB or the French track, they're already doing a lot of international things in terms of history, in terms of literature, in terms of every single subject. There's a lot of already international aspects, global aspects there. But we're going to make it bigger by organizing a system of assemblies, of regular assemblies, followed by debates, call them mentorship sessions, call them discussions, call them debates, and clubs. So in a sense, if in an assembly we present a topic, to a group of students. Then they go into small groups and debate and talk about what they've heard in the assembly. And then through clubs, they can put some things in action. So it's about listening, it's about speaking, and it's about doing. I think that's very important for our students. More community service opportunities, international exchanges and trips through our worldwide network. If I'm saying that, if I put that in, it's because unfortunately through COVID, we've had to cancel a lot of those opportunities. We're hoping not to have to cancel the opportunities we have this year to go to Quebec, even if we've had to cancel the Paris trip. Time will tell, but that's what we're hoping. We're hoping to go ahead with it. Certainly for next year, we want to go back, if everything goes according to plan, to offering all those international opportunities. And it's not just the trips we organize to France, to Quebec, and to other parts. It's also, and those of you who don't know the program, you need to know about this program. Normally when they're in 10th grade, they have the opportunity to spend from 1 to 2 months anywhere in the world. Through the IB and through the French international network, whether it's MLF or Ministry, we have thousands of partner schools around the world where the program is similar to our program. So spending 1 or 2 months anywhere in the world, and our students have been in the past in many different countries, they're not going to lose out, even in terms of what they're studying, because they're still studying in a French international school or in an IB school, and therefore they don't lose out. So that's something that we want to bring back as soon as possible. What are the areas of focus of that program? Well, areas such as obviously character building, that's important. Social, emotional learning, sometimes called EQ, emotional intelligence. In addition to that, it's looking at the international side of things, UN global issues, current affairs, so that really they become international, people with an interest in international affairs. Not just international, intercultural. What I mean by that is that they also need to know about world cultures of different sorts, different traditions. Not so that they lose their own. I think it's great to have our own tradition and our own beliefs. That's important. But it's also important to know what other people think so that we can understand them, so we can learn and we can teach, we can exchange. So that is what sometimes is called interculturalism. And that comes often through being multilingual, through speaking several languages, because then you can better appreciate what other people are saying and their own cultures. So that's a key. And sometimes, and that's why I put CQ down there, is because if on the one hand we have academic ambition, but then we also have EQ, that is to say emotional intelligence, there's what is called cultural intelligence, CQ. Cultural intelligence means through the learning of languages, through the learning of other cultures, we're able to work collaboratively, positively on multinational, multicultural teams. Most of you at work with people from around the planet. We want our students to do the same. We want our students to have that cultural intelligence, to be able to collaborate with panels from throughout the planet. So that's what we mean by our program. Also leadership is part of that program. Those opportunities abound, and they're going to become even more important. So for example, we're trying to redefine our student government. And it means, and we're talking to students now in the high school most particularly to say what they would like. This program is going to be both for Churchill and for Waterview. Class delegates, that's a great thing, and we have them, but we want them to be more strategic in their thinking. We want them to really be able to stand there, present projects, as a group of students did earlier this week. They presented the project to the executive team of the school, this is what we'd like to do. They prepared a PowerPoint presentation, a speech. We asked them a lot of questions. They were not embarrassed. That's what we want them to do. So that's the idea with trying to redefine a student government to make it even more leadership type of activity. Obviously, students can participate actively in our in the National Honor Societies, community service projects, fundraising, and through clubs. We have interesting clubs, Investment, French Conversation, Build On, Tiger Times, Model UN, and we would like to offer more, because we think, I repeat, that leadership is an important skill to try and develop in our students. Community spirit, last but not least. Aller des Tigres. It's really truly promoting a sense of identity, a sense of school spirit, a sense that we belong to the same community and we're proud of belonging to the same community. And of course, our board president was talking about a strategic plan that will help us even identify more clearly that. But it's important that we develop that in our students, in our teachers, in our community. We want to grow as a school. I said that we want to attract more student talent through programs like the Immersion program and through programs such as the IB track. But we want to maintain the family feel. So we want to grow, but not too much, so that we can still be a family. A global family, because that's what we are, but a family. We'd like to start organizing community building events in what is hopefully going to be a post-COVID world. And that includes a number of things. That includes at times grade level activities, whether it's play dates for the little ones, all sorts of wonderful things that we can do, barbecues, all sorts of wonderful things that we want to start doing as soon as we can. So we're already planning some of those activities. Expanding our after-school activities and camps, that's something we're looking to do for next year. Enhancing our facilities, including gathering spaces, as I was talking to you in terms of the different projects we have, and we are hoping to fund through the gala, and athletics. As our board president said, we have interesting plans on that front. Because at the end of the day, we want to create a deeper culture of philanthropy. Philanthropy meaning volunteering for the school, giving you more opportunities to volunteer, to participate in our school life. Also giving, at times through modest donation, at times through lead gifts. I think that's important as well, so that we can build an even bigger and better school. So that's something, and also to include more families and more alumni in our giving, in our philanthropies. So that's something that we want to develop over time. So that's why the gala is so important. There's a fundraising aspect, and that's extremely important for our students so that we can give them what they deserve. But there's also the community building aspect. So I'd like to see as many of you there as possible. I'll certainly be there, and I'm looking forward to that wonderful occasion. March 26th, Renaissance Hotel, Dallas. You only need to click there, and you'll get to the website. There you go. We've come to the end of the presentation, and because this is a different format, and because I'd like to be able to have a cocktail with you, obviously not with the parents who are watching from home, and I'm sorry about that. Hopefully next time I'll be able to meet you. But for those of you who are here, there's a cocktail, there's student tours, and our students are here. They can still give you a tour. They can show you what we do in STEM. They can show you our science labs. They can show you all the wonderful things we do upstairs, arts, everything. But just before we go, just before we start the next thing, please help spread the word. You have friends. Tell them how wonderful our school is. Tell them we're looking for talent. Tell them that we want good students, whether it's for the immersion program, whether it's for the IB program, whether it's for the regular French program, we want them here. We want them here And just to quote a wonderful African-American writer, don't know if you know James Baldwin, go tell it on the mountain. Help us. So thank you very much, and let's have something to drink together. Thank you.